money that they spent. Take another look and take some time for hemp. Don't cut trees for paper, cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yeah, it's time for hemp. An acre of hemp makes 20 barrels of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, it's time for hemp. Yeah.
Thank you for taking time for hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leitch. You are listening to the live broadcasts of Time for Hemp all around the world on AmericanFreedomRadio.com and on AM/FM stations all across America. It is Friday night. Happy Friday. And we have a famous musician on this evening, but this lady is not famous for her music, though you can get a copy of her song, The War on Us, at the timeforhemp.com website. When you go to timeforhemp.com, click on the About hyperlink, and when you go there, you'll be able to download a free copy of Elvy Musikka's song, The War on Us. Elvy's more famous because she is a legal marijuana smoker, legal in the sense that she gets her medical marijuana from good old Uncle Sam. Our federal government provides Elvy with her medical marijuana. And for those of you at the DEA and the FBI and the CIA and Homeland Security who are listening, I'm wondering, did you know, I'm sure you did, but just in case, did you know that the federal government does provide medical marijuana to at least 4 people still alive in America, and you grow it there in Mississippi for those people? See, it's just another reason why this war on drugs is, what should we say? Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, I know. Stupid! So as soon as you get your mind around that, you'll recognize why it is that you there in the DEA and the FBI and Homeland Security are painfully losing this war. That's why we got deaths going on along the border down there in Mexico, because you've taken a weed, a plant, and you, with your silly laws, have created for it an artificial price. I mean, quite honestly, no little plant, no ounce of any little plant's worth as much money as what we're paying for marijuana. Really, you're just making it that way. And I know you're thinking, well, you're keeping it from the kids. Well, no. I sometimes buy my marijuana from a 16-year-old kid down the street because his big brother or his dad sends it down to me. And really, they get the best herb in town. There's no point in me going elsewhere, so that's nice. So, again, failed policies. And we're going to be talking about your failed policies and how it is that we in the marijuana movement are really kicking butt. And we are taking names and numbers in California, and we're going to make a big difference. So I want you to get a hold of your friends and let them know to tune in to the broadcast. And those of you who like to listen to Time for Hemp, but sometimes you might miss a copy, it might miss a segment of the show, you can always go to our archives and download the program from the night before, the week before, or the month before. So sometimes, you might want to use them for reference. And I've updated the timeforhemp.com website. If you go to timeforhemp.com, you can only surf it with your regular computer, but if you got a high-end cell phone like Droid or Palm Pre or BlackBerry, you can go to timeforhemp.com and you can download all the MP3s, check out all the YouTube videos, and every file that's on there is accessible through your phone. Oh, and while you're there, you might want to hit the donate button. I want to give a big shout-out to KDK Distributors and thank them for being such strong supporters of our program, and thank AmericanFreedomRadio.com for keeping our voice nice and strong. Take a commercial break, but we'll come right back here at Time for Hemp.
You are
listening to the Time for Hemp Global Broadcasting Network. The only broadcasting network dedicated to ending the global war on drugs on iHeartRadio. Please share us with your friends. Through the day, I'll pack myself a nice, great big bowl, and I'll get busy on my computer. One of the places I check out when I log online is norml.org. It's a great place to check out. They got a great little radio show that's on there called The Audio Stash, a daily audio stash with my friend Russ Belleville. I love Russ, and if you happen to go by Normal, check out the daily audio stash and let them know that Casper Leitch sends his love. On the program tonight, somebody I adore and really admire and think is just brave and got all kinds of courage, because this individual has been fighting Uncle Sam eye to eye, tooth and nail, ever since she was diagnosed as having some medical problems that required medical marijuana to help her with her pain. I'm talking about Elvy Musikka. Elvy, thank you for taking time for hemp.
Well, Casper, there's nothing else I would rather do right now. It's just so good to be back with you. Keep working at it. It's just so important, and it's so good to be able to talk about the different aspects of it with you whenever we have the opportunity. So thank you.
Absolutely. Now, some members of our audience are completely oblivious as to why it is and how it is you are lucky enough to have Uncle Sam deliver for you a big fat tin full of already rolled joints.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It occurs to me that my parents gave me a little blurb on a paper back in the 70s because they already knew I had glaucoma. And it was about Robert Randall, who had challenged the laws against marijuana because he knew that marijuana lowered his intraocular pressure, and he sued them, and he won, and he became the first person to join an already ongoing federal program that is a compassionate new drug investigation. So they know the information since the 70s, and they were incredibly helpful to me when I got in trouble in the 80s, late 80s. I had by then lived through total hell. Whatever life was before that, it's so irrelevant to my life today that I feel that I really did die, stayed in purgatory for about 12 years as an illegal cannabis user. So many millions of you are, and so many of you have part help from your states. But, you know, we got to end the lie that keeps us in prison, and it's the Substance Control Act, which I knew nothing about at the time, nor did I know the benefits of my best plant ever, the gift I thank the Creator for on a daily basis. Every time I smoke, better believe the spirit of Thanksgiving is alive within me. So it's like everything that's happened since then. I went to trial. I had lost my better eye by then to too many surgeries, never to glaucoma. And my whole community, which was oddly enough South Florida, where nobody dared to go with this issue before, but I was in trouble, and the first thing I looked for when I got arrested, I didn't look for an attorney, I looked for the press. The press had already given my story out without putting my face or my name out before, so I think most people I used to work with out of bank knew who I was. Eventually, it did cost me my job because my immediate supervisor had his own beliefs about cannabis. He was a very believable Christian person, which is kind of sad to say because he obviously didn't understand that this plant could never have been grown by anything except the creator. It's just so incredibly holy in every aspect of the word that it's hard to understand why I would eventually not have a job because I smoked marijuana. But then the 80s came. The other part about working at a bank in the 70s is that before I started working there, I did tell the person who took my polygraph test that I smoked marijuana because I had glaucoma, and I had already been told that if I didn't, I would go blind. And from trying all the things they had, nothing worked. So when I got out of court, totally the judge concluded. I had incredible witnesses, as your audience has heard before, so I'm not even going to go into that, except, Robert Randall and Norman Kent, these people he was a pro bono attorney that just did it all for nothing. And we all proved to that judge that day, Paul Palmberg, my incredible Episcopalian elder doctor, a worldwide renowned ophthalmologist, stood for me. The things that happened were miracles, and there was no doubt in the judge's mind that I never intended to go breaking anybody's laws, that these laws did not belong in the books, that people like me did not belong in front of him in the courtroom. He said that I, in fact, would have been insane not to use marijuana. It's a kind of a reverse insanity, benediction, verdict that set me free, and it is. My whole life totally changed. My new life began on August 15, 1988, when Judge Marky Poland, who then was running for office for appellate judge in Florida, vindicated me. And believe me, if it were true that politicians are going to lose votes, he would never have made it. But that's not true. They may lose the finances of the pharmaceutical, insurance, and prison industries. And, yeah, I understand they can't run without that money. But stop telling you and I that they can't come out for us because they're going to lose the election. Yeah, they'll lose it because they won't have their big supporters, but not because the public is not behind them. The public is with us, thank God. Ignorance is no longer an issue. People know the truth.
It is, and I think once on the show you may come, when I asked you, I said, why don't they reenact this program on a federal basis again? And you said, well, there's kind of like no point to it now that the states are taking control over their own destiny. Is that kind of like how you still feel?
Oh, no, absolutely. There's no way that a farm in Mississippi is going to take care of the millions of us who need marijuana. I mean, you take a small state like Oregon, population-wise, I mean, we still expect to have at least 150,000 registered patients in this state, and we register with the state to belong to their program. And many people I personally know who are serious patients, but who just can't come out with the word marijuana because of the jobs they're holding, and they're still prejudiced against us, even in our state, of total acceptance, it seems, but it's not total. There's a segment of society that has been totally brainwashed for 4 generations, and it's going to take some time before they understand that just because you say the color of the ocean and the sky is purple, and you make it against the law to say it's blue, 200 years from now, of course, everybody's going to tell you, hey, it's purple, but obviously the word purple will mean blue.
Right.
So we got, we got a few problems too, but they're not really. Ignorance is what blinds us. That's my theory in life. Ignorance blinds us, and we need to. That's got to end because you and I see differently, and we know that there's no way you can call it some stupidity like this a war on drugs. There's more drugs every day out there. The killer drugs are not only sanctioned but totally sponsored by our government in that, for instance, all sports events are still being promoted by Anheuser-Busch or by Coors or some kind of alcohol, Miller Lite. I mean, I have nothing against alcohol, and I don't want to see alcohol prohibition again. We already know what that did. So,
right.
No. To continue to put marijuana, to replace the alcohol prohibition with marijuana prohibition is just totally insane. And some mutual friends of ours have given me something really wonderful. I was working with Mary Lynn Matry of Patients Out of Time, co-founder of Patients Out of Time. In Oregon, we were reviewing the initiative that's going on, Initiative 174, that will allow dispensaries in the state, because patients, if we don't have to have medicine, can go get it, nowhere to get it. So all of this is happening, and I was talking about it, and we ended up discussing several things. And one of the things she had that was the most amazing thing, and you're going to have to get one from her, or I will give you the address, your audience, the address, who to contact about. But the most amazing tape that I have seen on medical marijuana is one I came across through Mary Lynn Matry and Patients Out of Time. And it is, what if cannabis could cure cancer? Now, I know we had the Rick Simpson thing that blew my mind totally as well. But this one is even more impressive because it's scientists and doctors that are really stating the obvious, So it's you have to see it to believe. I mean, Robert Malamud is totally, as usual, making sure we all understand the connection between all of us, human beings, and in fact all the animal world, and the endocannabinoid system that connects to marijuana. It's a natural thing. It has been part of our system for 5,000 years at least. But the nice thing to know about it is that we can reverse this, because what's happened here is we got too many toxins, and what used to help the animals and the people with the cannabinoids of cannabis, or just because they had their own endocannabinoid system, which we still do, but that endocannabinoid system cannot cope with all the stuff that we now have, the toxicity, just the things that we're dealing with are just unimaginable. But this particular tape will definitely give you a much clearer and better description of what I'm trying to say. So you have to get a hold of it. It's by far the most impressive thing that I've had in my hands, and I got one tape with me only, and I'm thinking, do I wait till I get some more, or do I just take it to public television and say, you got to do something with this? It's that impressive.
Okay.
So you got to get a hold of it, and you're going to be talking to Mary Lynn tomorrow, and she'll tell you where to go. But whenever you have if it's right now, I got the information in front of me. If somebody wants to take it down.
Well, go ahead and give it out there while you got the chance. So somebody might be interested in writing it down, and it'll be recorded too, so people can download this tomorrow and get the same information as they listen to this tomorrow and next week.
Good. Yeah. This is something I highly, highly, highly recommend to anyone that is seriously considering educating legislators or other doctors or even law enforcement. But I'm not even going there, because this is strictly scientific and incredible material that we all need to really see it compiled together as well as these people did. And this would be Lynn Richmond. And so his address would be www.lynrichmond, so one word. I'm sorry, I got to move this a little. There's an eye problem here.
Okay.
Films.com, and it's all one word. Lynn Richmond.
All right, well, do it again. Just so they get it. Do it again.
Okay. www.lynrichmond Films, and that is all one word. Lynn Richmond. Small cases.
Okay.
.com.
And we'll try to get him on the show too as a guest here in another week or two.
How do I get your show? I live in Eugene and I have never found it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I wanna. I wanna.
Right.
Yeah, I definitely want to listen to you guys and help any way I can. But it's just no. Well, I'm just glad you keep me in mind and call me, and we do a show from time to time because it's good. And our project is coming along. Like I said, Mary Lynn is working on getting these people notified next next week, and then once we get a couple of good big appointments, then we can also work on other legislators that we can introduce to our issues. And I think from where I'm standing right now, I don't see why we would meet with anyone who wouldn't go home with this tape. I'm telling you, that's a mind blower. It's blowing my mind.
Is it?
Yeah, it really is. It really is blowing my mind.
What was the most riveting thing about it, do you think?
You know, just before I got on the telephone with you, I was watching it again, and I very seldom will watch something over and over, but this one is just compelling. And I kept feeling, okay, which part, so that I could even keep it running so you would listen to it if you wanted to. But it was like the minute one thing that was impressive came through, then was another one started that it was just as important, and the whole darn thing went on like that to the very end. So it was impossible to pick one part of it. You're gonna understand so much more. Well, you I'm sure have the understanding already, but even to just find people who can put it together, everything you already know,
right,
but put together so that we can all begin to understand and hit our legislators with it and say, how can you possibly avoid this anymore? Substance Control Act is a joke. Get rid of that lie for once and for all. Stop this insanity. You know, it really looks like we absolutely have cure for cancer, and cancer is supposed to strike 1 in every 3 of us today. I refuse to believe this, but it really is 1 in every 2 of us, the statistics say. And for me, that's so difficult to believe because, you know, I was preaching this statistics 15 years ago throughout campuses all over the country, and the statistics then were 1 in every 3, but now it's really every other one of us. And thank God, you know, everybody's, I'm sure there are many people, especially in my so-called family, biological family, who consider me insane for my incredible beliefs about the miraculous powers of the cannabis plant. But this tape pretty much explains exactly why they are happening and how connected we really are to it.
Well, you know, you and I have seen an awful lot of changes in the marijuana movement, and every time we open our eyes, we learn more remarkable facts about how fantastic this plant is. So those people who stand on the sidelines and laugh at us for believing so passionately in this plant, someday will thank us, don't you think?
I hope so, definitely. Well, I don't even care. As long as we get the job done and things change, that'll be my reward. I can't, you know, every day I wake up knowing that at least one person on this planet, I don't know who that person is, but at least one is somewhere out there waking up, looking out of her eyes or his eyes, just like I do, just because someone told us marijuana was the answer, and they've been using it for that many years, and they got their sight all this time.
Exactly.
You know,
now we're going to take a commercial break here.
Yeah.
We're going to take a commercial break here and go listen to some music about how fantastic the plant is, but then we'll come back and take more Time for Hemp.
THCF Medical Clinics are the premier physicians clinic in the United States. THCF has offices all across the United States from Hawaii to Michigan. THCF Medical Clinics has helped approximately 150,000 patients obtain their medical marijuana permits to legally possess, grow, and use medical marijuana. If you have chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, or any other neurological degenerative disease, or if you have any gastrointestinal disorders such as GERD, irritable bowel syndrome, or if you have AIDS, cancer, spastic disorders, seizure disorders, or glaucoma, call us at 1-800-723-0188 or visit us online at hemp.org. Again, the number is 1-800-723-0188 and the site is hemp.org.
I don't know about you, but when I cultivate my clones, I want to give each and every one the best chance to grow into a mature, healthy plant. But after a few cloning cycles, I experienced decreased root density, slimy stems, or even worse, no roots at all. Growers know that reusing cloning collars results in failed clones. And cleaning cloning collars between grow cycles requires extra work and decreases root density. That's why I use permaclone. Permaclone collars have been engineered to prevent failed clones by providing heat-sterilizable collars, which fit easy clone, turbo clone, or power cloner systems. Permaclone collars can be dry heat sterilized, pressure cooked, or autoclaved to completely kill all bacteria and fungi without harsh chemicals. Start cloning with confidence today and visit us at permaclone.com. Put in the code T for hemp with your order and receive a 10% discount on your purchase.
Indigrow is your source for affordable induction grow lighting. First discovered in 1891 by Nikola Tesla, Indigrow lights deliver 11 years of electronic sunlight to your plants. Indigrow lamps require less than half the power of traditional HID lamps. Converting to Indigrow lights means you'll cut down on your power bill with less lighting. Indigrow lamps also use 5 times less mercury than traditional fluorescent or HID lamps, making Indigrow not only energy efficient but environmentally friendly as well. No more switching out lamps between vegetative and flowering stages. As nature intended, your lights get a steady dose of UV light. That makes your plants grow healthier and stronger. Indigrow products are manufactured in San Diego, California, and come with a written 10-year warranty. What Tesla knew, then growers know now, is that Indigrow lighting is the cost-effective addition to your victory garden. To learn more or order now, go to inda-grow.com. That's INDA-GRO.com. Or call 877-452-2244 to answer any of your questions. These guys really know lights. Indigrow really is your sunlight in a box.
Have you ever had a problem with overcooking your cannabis oil? You probably wanted to rip your hair out when you burned off all the THC, right? I even cried one time when my brownies failed to make a good impression at the party. Well, I stopped crying when I found Magical Butter. Magical Butter is a device with a microprocessor-controlled program sequencer. It was designed by a scientist and a chemist to precisely extract the benefits of various herbs. Magical Butter easily makes botanical butter, oils, tinctures, lotions, sauces, and more. Magical Butter heats your oil and your herbs at the perfect temperature every time. Check us out at magicalbutter.com because it's magical. Okay, there's a lot of science and chemistry involved, but it sure works like magic.
Education and information. See what all the buzz is all about. It's time for hemp. It's time for hemp.
Yes, man. King B fine pan the case, man. You better listen to these ones, eh? Compensation, then got your papa bun. Oh. So from the custom bring the policeman come. The police get a vest and I go clean up his gun. Me take the one puff, he crack off his gun. Me get the sense of million and he asks me for some. He asks me for some, Lord, he asks me for some. Me get the sense of million and he asks me for some. Lord, I'm asking, here we go so. Sense the million, it's a people. It's a people. Oh yeah. The gun in the corner, him say pass me the telephone tower. And when he take one puff, him start to pick up. Him take another one, him start to pick up. Him get serious, him take one puff. He say what is this? I say Sensimilia. He went to wrap up the case to the doctor. Say he went to wrap up the case to the lawyer. Them all say Sensimilia, it's a people. It's a people. Oh yeah. It's a people. King Beef, I say it's a people. Rastafari. Oh yeah, yeah. The one them call it marijuana. He say, what is this? I say, wrong ganja. And the doctor, the lawyer, they come together. Say, Lord, make we rasta and make a man dress. And say, Miller with the bun. We lick it all the time. And me say, lick it in the chalwa. All biggie paper. Rasta people all over the world. Let's come together and burn the fire. We go so. Sensimilia, it's a people. It's a people. Oh yeah, yeah. Sensimilia, it's a people. King Beef, I say, it's a people. Rastafari. Oh yeah, yeah. If you like, they come in 1 in a million. King Beef, I say, me no go stop. Babylon come tell you, say me kid they smoke cigarette. They know say cigarette will give you the cancer. Burn them. Me come tell you, a Rasta people say not sense similar with it burn. Again, we lick it in the morning, we lick it in the night. No matter what the wicked man wants, they say me go so. Sense similar, it's a feeble. It's a feeble. Oh yeah, yeah. Sense similar, it's a feeble. King Beef, I say, it's a feeble. Rastafari. Oh yeah, yeah. He come trip down the gun in the corner. Him say, pass me the telephone tower. And when he take the one puff, him start to pick up. Him take another one, him start to pick up. Him get serious, him take one puff. He say, what is this? I say, Sensimilia. He went to wrap up the case to the doctor. Say he went to wrap up the case to the lawyer. Them all say.
Thank you for taking time for Hemp. I'm your host, Casper Leitch. You've been listening to King Be Fine. And this is Time for Hemp live all around the world on AmericanFreedomRadio.com. I want to remind you that American Freedom Radio is pulling up their stakes and pitching their tent in a whole new state. And they want to get out of Texas and away from the madness that's erupted down there in our Dead Sea that's been given to us by our fine terrorist organization called British Petroleum. And so if you want to help AmericanFreedomRadio.com move, go to their website and hit the donate button. I know they will be grateful. On the program tonight, we have a real freedom fighter, someone who has been someone I admire and really look up to and consider a great activist we should all emulate. I'm talking about Elvy Musikka. Elvy, thank you for taking time for Hemp.
Well, I definitely thank you. And what else did you want to talk about? This has been a fun month as far as I've been concerned. I started to tell you earlier that in Oregon we want dispensaries, and that for the first time they're trying something really unique that's been tried in Europe before, and it is about gathering 24 citizens from all over the state, going over some of the issues that might be controversial, and get the pros and cons about it before it gets printed on the ballot, so it's not totally, people from left field coming and saying. It was really interesting. It went on for a whole week, and I guess they decided to support us by a small margin, but nevertheless, it was winnable. And so I'm very curious to see what will come out in that voters pamphlet. Oregon is all done by mail, So the pamphlets go to every household in the state. And, of course, registered voters get to make their decisions that way at their own leisure, at their own time. And it's kind of neat.
Well, that's a lot different than other states, and that makes it a little more easy for the voter to be informed, I would think, because they have easier access to the information about their candidates and about the bills and propositions and initiatives that are on their ballots. Am I right?
Right. Yeah, because the voters pamphlet goes to every household, whether you have registered voters there or not. And it's really interesting how different states deal with. And, of course, we're dealing with the initiative because I really think if you're already a legal state, then dispensaries are hand in hand with it. I mean, I noticed that if you work with Normal a lot, Casper, and I'm saying the lady, Madeline Martinez, I don't know if she is for dispensaries or not publicly. I sense some resistance. I hope I'm misunderstanding that, because she obviously believes in them. Members of Normal can, with medical cards, go into her area and smoke. That's kind of like a coffee house, I would say, and more so than just a dispensary. But I don't think the members are allowed to take any of it home, and so driving 2 hours so I can take my medicine may not be the best solution. I think dispensaries are really necessary.
Okay.
Well, that's my personal opinion. Is, well, the voters will make a decision on that. I'd like to see it win, for sure. Yeah.
Well, I'd like to be able to walk into a store and be able to buy a pack of pre-rolled marijuana cigarettes like you do tobacco, and take it home and fire up and watch the Cartoon Network.
Do you want my green palm walls? Is that what you're saying? I think I didn't know if I told you this last time we spoke, but this year has been the first year that the government is giving me absolutely incredibly nice stuff. It's no California grown. It's not, 27% THC or anything like that. But it's a nice balance of all the cannabinoids that are helpful, and it's smooth going down. And I'm so delighted, because for years you've heard me complain about the garbage. I've always called it the government trash, because what I was getting, especially under the Bush administration, was really, really, it couldn't control my glaucoma unless I'm resourceful and I learned how to concentrate the stuff so it would work. But it took a tremendous amount. My doctor was ready to double my prescription, like 20 a day, and I'm like, no, anything that bad I shouldn't be putting into my system if it takes that much. No. So it was interesting, but now it's really come down to where, when my doctor called NIDA back in 03, they simply told him that he asked for the stuff they were sending me before, and they said that's a mistake that will not be repeated. I think they were upset with my activism. I'm not sure, but I took it personally for some odd reason. And moved to Oregon where I could get it for free, because the main object was still to keep my sight no matter what they were saying, But
yeah, I do.
The state that I was talking to you about even goes into that, about the way our thinking does change, and we start to question, why do we keep doing things we're not happy about?
Right.
We do change. And once you change, you can't go back. I mean, you can tell me all you want to that I'm blind, and by your standards, I definitely am. I cannot even recognize your face if I see you somewhere, Casper. Really. That's sad.
Wow.
I mean, my kids, I see you overall. I see the overall figure. I might even see your aura better than most people do, but I don't see your face. So it's really impossible for me to just go in a crowd and say hello. You have no idea how many friends I saw at Seattle Hemp Fest last weekend with 170,000 plus others, there. And I don't know who I saw, because I said hello to an awful lot of people. But I'd say that 9 times out of 12, I didn't know who the people I was talking to were. This is a small percentage that I communicate with enough to know their voices and things, but their regular stature and their hair and that kind of thing, the clothes they wear and things like that really are helpful. But I live in my own world. It's from my own perspective, and I have no problem with that, because I understand we all are a vehicle in which spirit travels, and the only vehicle that can get me to you is the one I'm traveling in, just like you can't get to me except in the one you're traveling in. Well, the body, is designed for our individual destiny through the planet, right? That means a lot of stuff.
I'm one of those people who actually believe that we do have a purpose to be here. I'm even surprised that, as an example, I was here. My mom had so many problems giving birth that they finally tied her tubes so that she wouldn't die giving birth. And 6 years later, when they went to remove a cancerous tumor, they realized 30 seconds before they removed it that it was actually me. And
that's incredible.
Yeah, and when they brought her out of anesthesia and asked her if she wanted to keep me because I could very well have killed her. And she said yes, and she had to spend the last 6 months flat on her back.
Oh, God bless her. I love her already.
And then 6 months. And then 6 months after I was born, I came down with a bad case of pneumonia and almost died and still made it. So between conception and 6 months, it's amazing that I'm even here. And I somehow think that there's a real reason for me to be.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. How could we have planned the lives we live today? I mean, I don't know about yours, but there's no way I could have imagined. That would have been the crazy. I remember a psychic telling me that someday I would influence people all over the world with something I had to say, that I needed to start writing down what I was thinking because it was going to happen. And I won't even go into the circumstances where the conversation came up in the first place, because that's even more bizarre, okay? But she knew I was questioning her sanity when she said these things, and she said, no, I work for a radio. I know you're thinking that, why am I telling you this? Well, I worked for a radio station for 15 years as a psychic, and I sometimes misinterpret signs, but I never misinterpret a vision. And you will influence people who are in a position of law throughout the world. I started writing music. I thought that's what she was talking about. Okay, that's what planet I was on at the time.
Okay.
Well,
I love your music.
Thank you.
I love your music.
And
let me remind people again that they can go to timeforhemp.com and get a free copy of Elvy's song, The War on Us, by clicking on the About hyperlink at timeforhemp.com.
Oh, thank you, Casper. That's good. I want people to think about what that song has to say, because it's so true. Except, the statistics.
It really is.
Every time I sing it, they change. We got more people with singing over. Oh, God. Yeah.
Well, Elvy, we're going to be taking a commercial. We got to take a commercial break here so we can pay our bills. And then when we come back, we're going to wrap up this interesting hour that we've had. And we're going to talk about some of the things that you've got on your plate for the rest of the year and some of the things you want to accomplish. And those of you at home, if you want to write Eddie Lepp or Roger Christie or Mark Emery, again, you can go there to timeforhemp.com, and their addresses are on the front of the website. Please use them and send them letters of love. Again, we're going to take a commercial break, and then
send in my love. Send all three. My love. My love.
All right, well, we're coming right back, Elvy, and taking more Time for Hemp.
Have you ever had a problem with overcooking your cannabis oil? You probably wanted to rip your hair out when you burned off all the THC, right? I even cried one time when my brownies failed to make a good impression at the party. Well, I stopped crying when I found Magical Butter. Magical Butter is a device with a microprocessor-controlled program sequencer. It was designed by a scientist and a chemist to precisely extract the benefits of various herbs. Magical Butter easily makes botanical butter, oils, tinctures, lotions, sauces, and more. Magical Butter heats your oil and your herbs at the perfect temperature every time. Check us out at magicalbutter.com because it's magical. Okay, there's a lot of science and chemistry involved, but it sure works like magic.
If you are in the Portland, Oregon area and are an OMMP cardholder, then come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market, Portland, Oregon's first and only weekly OMMP market, presented by the Alternative Wellness Center, located at 5241 Southeast 72nd Avenue, 2 blocks south of Foster Boulevard, close to public transportation, held every Sunday 10 a.m. till 7 p.m., connecting quality vendors with patients. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market also has a weekly raffle with products from every vendor, so come down to Nikki's Diggity Dank Market and have fun while connecting with quality vendors and getting great natural medicine. If you are a vendor and want a chance to connect with OMMP patients, you can check out their Facebook page at facebook.com/Alternative Wellness Center or call 971-888-4392. Be sure to register early because space is limited. Nikki's Diggity Dank Market.
I don't know about you, but when I cultivate my clones, I want to give each and every one the best chance to grow into a mature, healthy plant. But after a few cloning cycles, I experienced decreased root density, slimy stems, or even worse, no roots at all. Growers know that reusing cloning collars results in failed clones. And cleaning cloning collars between grow cycles requires extra work and decreases root density. That's why I use PermaClone. PermaClone collars have been engineered to prevent failed clones by providing heat-sterilizable collars which fit easy clone, turbo clone, or power cloner systems. PermaClone collars can be dry heat sterilized, pressure cooked, or autoclaved to completely kill all bacteria and fungi without harsh chemicals. Start cloning with confidence today and visit us at permaclone.com. Put in the code T for hemp with your order and receive a 10% discount on your purchase.
Headshot Canada. Based in Saskatchewan, Canada, it is shaking up the medical cannabis industry. Headshot Canada helps Canadian citizens in getting a medical marijuana license. They do this by filling out the paperwork. They also help explain your needs to your doctor and also help find the right strain for your condition. For this service, Headshot Canada charges a nominal fee of $100 and your participation in a research and development study to test the effectiveness of different cannabis strains on various medical conditions. Owner and founding farmer Tim Selinsky wants every Canadian to know that you have the universal right to a marijuana license. Unlike Compassion Clubs, Headshot Canada's goal is to get the right strain of cannabis for the ailment at a fair flat rate price for the patient no matter the strain. Headshot Canada offers 57 strains of cannabis grown at family-owned farms in Saskatchewan as opposed to Canadian federal government's one strain of irradiated garbage grown in a lab. Go to headshopcanada.com.
Free? Did you say free? Free hemp? Free hemp? Free hemp video and audio? Free downloads of all the top artists, all the pot artists on planet Earth. Interviews with all the people making the movement, making the hemp movement. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp. That's right, world. It's time for hemp.
Well, now, chocolate cake makes my poor stomach ache, and all those pills are too much for me to take. I don't like cocaine 'cause it makes me all uptight. Coffee and reefer makes me feel alright. Crystal meth will make you high.
Coffee and reefer makes me feel alright. That is true. One of the things that makes me feel alright is hearing that we are bringing the war on drugs to an end. This horrible civil war has been destroying families, our culture, our future. Our national treasure, everything has just been ruined by the touch of these laws, hasn't it, Elvy?
Absolutely, yeah. It's just been a terrible thing. I took you off speakers. It just happened. Yeah.
What's on the plate for your future for the rest of this year? You got anything exciting that you want to bring to the attention
Well, you have been very instrumental in getting us motivated so that we hope to meet with some of our legislators, if not by the end of the year, certainly by the early part of the following year. It's a shame we didn't get through with this issue way earlier when we really started talking about it, and you certainly had reason for us to get motivated then, and thank you so much, and we're going to take advantage of those efforts when the time is right, and finally we really are working on it, and so I'm very excited about that because we're trying to meet with members of the Justice Department and the Health Department and, and maybe with Mrs. Clinton. Clinton, now that you get into the act, Mrs. Obama, with Michelle. That's too funny. Yeah, we know what a part he took in marijuana was legalized in California. So I don't think I found it amusing watching in this tape when the Justice Department was headed by a woman from Florida that I had to know about because my story was huge down there when she was the state attorney. And it turned out that she ended up with Parkinson's, and I thought it was funny because I know she must have received 1 million emails or whatever letters about the benefits for people with Parkinson's and cannabis, and it was kind of sad to see her shaking later on knowing, and it had to be rough on her, knowing that there really was something to help, and she was not allowed to have any of that. So that's kind of sad, but that's where everybody's going now. We're all getting older, and we all have one of the things that cannabis helps with because it helps with everything.
It does. It really does. That's one of the things that has always surprised me most about this plant is that every 2 or 3 months, boom, a new study comes out about how it helps here. It helps with glaucoma. It helps with Alzheimer's. It helps with your blood circulation. It helps with breathing. It helps with everything.
Yeah, with everything. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you'll love that paper we're talking about because, believe me, it shows all of those aspects. That's why I got so off on that rampage because it's everything that we've been talking about all this year is finally a body of scientists are spelling it out for the people even more eloquently than I ever thought of doing it, So I'm like, yes, thank you. We got to get it out to the general population because this is what it's all about. People with the right information will make the right decisions.
I know. It means an awful lot, especially considering that, like you and Irv, who are under medical marijuana care, so to speak, when you ask the government to do a study as to how well it's improved your health, they would not do it. You had to have your own personal study out of your own pockets put together. So when you hear that this body of scientists now have come together and worked on this, I can see why you are jumping up and down.
Definitely. It's really exciting because, as you said, the government keeps this information. There's even the 4 of us that are on cannot stay on it unless the doctor writes reports every year telling how well it's working or, if it's not or whatever. And so they have plenty of good evidence. I'm definitely an incredible substance. And now that I'm thinking that for them to draw on, but Irvin, that his thing is tumors, and I was thinking he was supposed to have died as a teenager. We've all been crediting just the fact that he can relax and expand his muscles without breaking. But if you watch this tape, you'll understand that the reason he's still alive is because those tumors have not been growing. There's something inside his body that keeps fighting him, and it's called marijuana. It is so amazing. This tape is going to blow your mind, Casper. Go for it.
I can't wait to read it. I really can't. Now, there in Oregon, are you starting to get more people involved in the initiative up there and in what you're doing, or are you still having problems getting all the help you need?
Well, there's never enough help but there is. It's the funny thing is, first of all, it is on the ballot. That's already been done. We already got all those signatures. And it is going to be on the ballot. Like I said last week, we spent time giving our side of the arguments for the legislators to have hired a body of people to make a decision of what to print on the pamphlets for the voters. And all of that has really been very helpful. So, yeah, and then, like, this weekend we're doing Eugene Celebration, where I was supposed to be this evening, but I have Saturday and Sunday to make up for that, so no problem. And then there's the fair, the state fair is going on somewhere else, and there's still another big festival somewhere else that we should have people out doing work. So if everybody's out there trying to get people motivated to get out there and vote, mostly to register voters, because, Oldie, I want to change things. Don't do a damn thing if you can't get behind that booth and vote the way you really think. If you can't do that, well, then it's all nice talk.
Well, Elvy, it has been a lot of joy having you on the program, and I look forward to having you back real soon.
Casper, great talking to you. Love you, love you, love you. The more I know you, the more I love you.
Thank you so much, Elvy. I hope your weekend's full of comedy. And when you come back next Monday, know that it will be time for Hemp.
Don't cut trees for paper, 'cause it hurts the environment. Stop deforestation, yes, it's time for hemp. Whoa, an acre of hemp makes 20 bales of oil. No need for pesticides to poison all our soil. People got no food, they got no clothes, they got no rent. Well, time for help! Yeah!
Red cross in the sky, trouble far below. If you wanna get high, you gotta lay low. I came down from the sky, like the dragonfly. Oh no, oh no. Say goodbye to the lady child. Watch out now, they're coming down low. Yeah, they're getting too low. There's a tear in my eye, there's a hole in my soul. Through all I have, and I hit it under control. It came down from the sky, it's like the dragonfly. Oh no, oh. Say goodbye to my lady child. Watch out now, they're coming down low. Yeah, they're getting too low. There's a fire in the pine and smoke across the nose. Took all I had and then they took control. They came down from the sky like the dragonfly. Oh no, oh. Say goodbye to my lady child. Watch out now, they're coming down low. Good. Say goodbye to my baby child. Watch out now.